I want you to picture a scenario for me. It's a classic moment.
Okay.
You're standing in your kitchen, maybe arguing over who does the dishes. You pull out a coin, you say, heads I win, tails you lose.
Right. The classic offer.
You flip it, you catch it, you slap it on your hand. But when you lift your hand, something is off. The face staring back at you on heads is the exact same face that's on tails.
Which, I mean, that sort of breaks the game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The whole system collapses.
It totally does. In this game, it seems the house always wins. And normally a double-sided coin is just, a magic trick, a gag gift.
Yeah.
But today, it is the very real subject of our deep dive. We are looking at a proposal from the U.S. Treasury that has a lot of people just squinting at their screens.
I'm wondering if it's April Fool's Day. Yeah, this is definitely one of the most unique and I'd say legally complex proposals in the history of American numismatics.
Numismatics.
Right, that's just the fancy word for coin collecting. So what we're looking at are the first drafts for a new $1 coin. And the big thing, the headline, is that it features President Donald Trump on the front and on the back.
So a double-sided presidential coin, heads, it's Trump.
Tails, it's also Trump. Exactly. And just to be clear for everyone listening, this isn't, a Reddit rumor.
Right.
We're diving into the primary sources. We're talking actual draft sketches that were released by Treasurer Brandon Beach, his comments, and then all the reporting from places like People, NBC, and CNN trying to untangle the legal mess here.
And that legal mess, that's where I think we have to spend a lot of our time. Because my first thought when I saw this was, wait a second, can they do that?
A very good question.
I thought there were rules about who goes on the money. But before we get to all the lawyers and the loopholes, let's talk about the why. Why this coin? Why now?
It's all for a big birthday party. The technical term, and I apologize for this, is the semi-quincentennial.
That's a mouthful. I feel like I need a glass of water just to say that word.
It is a bit of a tongue twister, yeah. It just means the 250th anniversary. Specifically, 250 years since the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So the U.S. turns 250 in 2026.
And this coin is meant to be the centerpiece of that celebration.
That's the idea.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack the visual symbolism, which is intense.
Oh, it is.
We'll look at the political context and then try to solve this legal puzzle. How do you put a living president on the back of a coin when the law seems to scream, don't do that?
It really creates this fascinating tension between what the administration wants and what the law actually says.
Okay, let's start with the visuals. You really have to paint a picture here. Because this didn't come from some boring press release, did it? It came from social media.
Right. It came directly from Treasurer Brandon Beach on X. And the tone was very combative. He wasn't just sharing a happy update. He was pushing back on leaks. People were seeing these sketches online, wondering if they were real. So Beach just posts the high-res images and writes, and I'm quoting here, "No fake news here. These first drafts honoring America's 250th birthday and Apusius are real."
No fake news here.
Yeah.
Wow, he's really leaning into the brand right there.
Absolutely. So let's look at the object itself. Let's start with the front, the obverse.
Okay, I'm picturing a dollar coin.
On the front, you've got a profile sketch of Donald Trump. And to be fair, a profile on the front is pretty standard. Washington on the quarter, Lincoln on the penny.
Right, but usually dead presidents. We'll get to that.
We will definitely get to that. But for now, aesthetically, it's traditional. It says, "In God We Trust." But then the dates. It doesn't just say 2026. It reads 1776 to 2026.
It's marking that whole 250-year span.
Correct. It's connecting the founding of the Republic directly to this moment. It's like a bracket on history saying the story that began then culminates with this face right now.
That's a powerful claim. So, okay, the front is, let's say, the traditional side.
Relatively speaking, yes.
Now, tell me about the back. Because usually I expect to see, like, an eagle or a Statue of Liberty, something symbolic.
Right. Coin designs on the reverse are usually allegorical. They represent these big abstract ideas like liberty or peace.
Yeah.
This draft just throws that whole tradition out the window.
So what's on it?
It's a specific high-energy moment from the news. It's a sketch based on that photograph of Donald Trump right after the assassination attempt in July 2024.
The fist pump photo.
That's the one. Fist in the air, Secret Service all around him. The image captures that exact, split-second reaction of defiance. And it's not just the image, it's the text.
What does it say?
Well, you still have United States of America and E pluribus unum.
Okay.
But then in this big arc right over his head, in all caps, it just says, "Fight, fight, fight."
Fight, fight, fight on U.S. currency.
It's a rally cry. It's a slogan.
That feels so different from liberty. That's a noun. Fight is a verb. It's a command.
Exactly. It changes what the coin is. Usually a coin is a static monument. It represents stability. This design anchors the coin to this one chaotic, violent, visceral event.
So it basically turns the coin into a headline.
A headline stamped in metal. Or, like we said, a campaign button you can use to buy groceries.
That is a wild concept. And we have to talk about the context of the announcement, too, because Treasurer Beach didn't just drop the photos. He said something specific about when he was releasing them.
He did, and this really gives us the political backdrop. In his post, he said he was looking forward to sharing more details. Quote, "Once the obstructionist shutdown of the United States government is over."
Obstructionist shutdown. Okay, so to place this on a timeline for everybody, this was October 2025.
Correct. The government was in a shutdown at the time, the first of Trump's current term.
Let's just pause on that for a second. The government is shut down, federal workers aren't getting paid, and the treasurer is tweeting out coin designs.
There's some irony there for sure. But it's also a strategy. By calling it an obstructionist shutdown, he's framing the coin itself as an act of defiance.
Like, they can shut down the government, but they can't stop this.
That's it. A Treasury spokesperson even gave a statement to CNN saying the draft reflects the, quote, enduring spirit of our country, even in the face of immense obstacles.
So the obstacles aren't just the thing on the coin, the assassination attempt. The obstacle is also the shutdown itself.
That's the subtext, yeah. It sort of conflates the president's personal survival with the political survival of his administration.
And shutdowns they're familiar territory for this administration, aren't they?
Oh, yes. The sources point this out. If you look back at Trump's first term, there were 3 shutdowns. Three. And one of them, the one from late 2018 into 2019, lasted 35 days. That's still the longest in U.S. history.
So mentioning the shutdown in that tweet, it's not just a throwaway line.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It signals to the base, we are fighting again. And the coin literally says fight. The synergy there is very deliberate.
Okay, so we have the image, we have the context. Now I need you to put on your legal hat. This is where my brain starts to hurt. Isn't there like a law that says you have to be dead to be on a dollar?
You're not wrong. That is the general rule of American currency.
I knew it. Washington, Lincoln, they were all long gone.
Right. The tradition actually started with the founders. They were very anti-monarchy. In Europe, the king's face was on the coin because the king was the state.
And they wanted to avoid that.
Exactly. They wanted Lady Liberty. It wasn't until much later that we started putting presidents on coins, and the rule was that a president had to be deceased for at least 2 years.
2 years, a little cooling off period.
Right, to let history judge them and to stop a sitting leader from, using the mint for self-aggrandizement.
So if this coin is minted in 2026 while Trump is in the White House, that would be a first, right?
It would be a historic first. No sitting president has ever appeared on a circulating U.S. coin.
Is it illegal? Or is there some kind of magic loophole?
And now we enter the legal labyrinth. It all comes down to a law called the Circulating Collectible Coin Redesign Act of 2020.
2020, so passed at the end of his first term.
Correct. And that act was all about preparing for the semi-quincentennial. It gave Congress the authority to mint these special $1 coins for the 250th birthday.
Okay, so the law says make a birthday coin. That part is totally legal.
Yes. But, and this is a very big but, that same law has very specific restrictions on what can be on the coin. And this is where the reporting from NBC and CNN gets really interesting.
Okay, what does the text of the law actually say?
I'm just going to read you the key part. The act says, no Head and Shoulders portrait or bust of any person living or dead may be included in the design on the reverse.
Wait, no person living or dead on the reverse.
That is the exact statutory language.
But the draft we just described, the fight image, that's a person. That's definitely Trump.
It is undeniably a person, yes.
And it says living or dead, so it's not even about that. You can't have any person's bust on the back.
It seems pretty clear-cut, doesn't it? And then there's another clause that also says, no portrait of a living person may be included in the design on the reverse.
So it says it twice. Don't do it, and then especially don't do it if they're alive.
It really emphasizes the point. The law seems designed to push the design back toward those symbolic things, eagles, bells,
So how in the world is the Treasury proposing this? If the law says no living person on the reverse, what's the argument?
They do have lawyers.
Yeah.
And according to the reporting, specifically from CNN, there is a potential workaround being floated. It's creative.
I'm all ears. How do you get around no living person?
The argument seems to hinge on the front of the coin, the obverse.
The front? How?
Okay, so bear with me because this takes some mental gymnastics. The argument is that because Trump's portrait is already on the front,
Which is loud.
well, they'd argue the Treasury Secretary has broad powers there. But let's say they clear that hurdle. The argument for the back is that the law is meant to stop new or different people from being on the back.
Hold on. So the logic is we can put him on the back because he's already on the front.
That appears to be the logic, yes. They might try to argue the reverse image is just supporting imagery for the main portrait, or that it's depicting a scene or an event, not a portrait in the legal sense.
That sounds incredibly flimsy. That is a real stretch.
Threadbare might be a polite word for it. It's like if I said, no dogs in the kitchen, and you walked your dog in and said, well, he was already in the living room, so it's fine.
Right. And the image on the back, it's not a tiny figure in the background. It's the main focus. It's clearly a portrait.
It is a classic conflict. You've got the executive branch pushing a design that fits the president's brand, and you have Congress who wrote a law specifically trying to prevent this kind of thing.
It really feels like they're just daring someone to stop them.
That is often how these things are tested. And remember, Treasure Beach did call these first drafts.
Yes, first drafts.
It's a very convenient phrase. It lets you get all the publicity and excite the base, but you still have an exit ramp if the lawyers come back and say, absolutely not.
It's a trial balloon.
A very shiny metallic trial balloon.
So let's zoom out. We've got the design, the shutdown context, this legal headache. Why should the listener actually care about what's on a dollar coin? Most of us just tap our phones to pay for things.
It matters because currency is one of the main ways a country defines itself. I mean, think about it. When you go to a new country, you look at the money. Who's on it? What symbols do they care about? What's the story they're telling?
It's a snapshot of their national identity.
Exactly. And the 250th birthday is a huge milestone, a quarter of a millennium. Usually that's a moment for broad, inclusive reflection. We, the people, the Constitution, that kind of thing.
Right. You'd expect something that unites that whole 250-year story.
But this proposal tries to narrow that huge history down to a single person and a single moment.
And a very, very recent moment.
Extremely recent. It collapses the distance between history with a capital H and news with a lowercase n. It implies the culmination of 1776 is not the nation, but the leader.
And that's the heads I win, tails I win part. It just saturates the entire object with one identity. It's not just a coin, it's a mirror.
And for any collectors out there, this is huge. If this crane actually gets made, it becomes an instant artifact of this political era. It captures the polarization perfectly.
And if it doesn't get made,
then the drafts themselves become the story. The fact that the Treasury even proposed it becomes a historical footnote about the relationship between the presidency and the government in 2026.
So just to recap this deep dive, we have a proposed coin with Donald Trump on both sides, a first. We have the slogan, fight, fight, fight on legal tender.
Yep.
It's being released during a shutdown, framed as a symbol of defiance. And we have a 2020 law that explicitly says no living people on the back, which the administration seems ready to challenge.
It's a perfect storm of design, law, and politics.
And we still don't know how it ends. Beach said the production dates were tied to the end of the shutdown, so we're all just in a waiting game.
We are. We're waiting to see which wins. The legal text or the political will.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a thought. Currency is designed to outlive us. You can find a penny from 1955 in your change jar. That coin has passed through millions of hands, through different eras. It's permanent.
They're like little metal time capsules.
So if a coin is meant to be permanent, what does it mean when we etch it with something from a singular, polarized millisecond in time? And if the design is truly heads I win, tails I win, does that suggest a new era for American symbolism, where the leader and the state are no longer two sides of the same coin, but just the same face?
That's a heavy question for a piece of pocket change.
Something to think about next time you're deciding who buys dinner. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Stay curious.
See you next time.